Thank you for joining us. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos sends a cabal of condolences to His Majesty Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, King of Bahrain, on the death of His Excellency Sheikh Abdul Rahman bin Abdullah bin Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. The Sultanate confirmed its solidarity with the Palestinian people and its support to their rights in establishing an independent state on the basis of the 4th of June 1967 borders with Jerusalem as its capital. An official source at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said today that the Sultanate calls for a political solution to the conflict between the Palestinians and Israelis which ensures the establishment of the two states and their peaceful coexistence side by side. The State Council approved suggestions of developing The State Council approved suggestions of developing social security system in addition to discuss other suggestions about the National Program for Government Performance Excellence. The members of the Council discussed also the importance of looking deeply for the social insurance salary with raising in cost of living, in addition to stress the importance of diversifying investments income resources for the insurance system. They also pointed out that the performance level in the institutions will be raised in the coming period. The session was chaired by His Excellency Dr. Yahya bin Mahfouz al-Mandari, Chairman of the State Council. General cargo and heavy equipment ships received by Duqm port doubled in the first quarter of the current year compared to the last year. 18 ships were received by Duqm dry dock in April and May to reach 578 ships. Duqm Special Economic Zone employed a number of Omani workers in various technical and administrative fields with a percentage of Omanization of 87%. A ceremony was held for the opening of a Sahara border crossing in the Wilayah of Buremi. It came to keep pace with active economic movement being witnessed by the governorate of Al Buremi. The opening of this border crossing also came to facilitate the movement of the travelers to and from the governorate. It also will enhance security services provided by Royal Oman Police. The inauguration ceremony was presided over by His Excellency Dr. Saeed bin Khamis Al Ka'bi, Chairman of the Public Authority for Consumer Protection, who toured all buildings and facilities of the Sahara border crossing. It was equipped with all required equipment and technology to render best services to citizens and visitors. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and yet to come in our news bulletin, the single women cares for over 2,000 orphans in China. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights has condemned the killing and wounding of Palestinians by Israeli troops in mass protest on the Gaza border yesterday. Zaid Ra'ad al-Hussein spokesman Rupert Colville described it as appalling deadly violence during which 58 Palestinians were killed and almost 1,360 demonstrators were injured with live ammunition fired by Israeli security forces. Colville spoke at a news briefing in Geneva on Tuesday and urged an investigation into the events. He said those responsible must be held accountable. Yesterday was the single deadliest day there since 2014 war and part of a high-stakes campaign by Gaza's Hamas to break a decade-long border blockade. The United Nations Security Council planned to meet today to discuss the violence. Iran's Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif met with European Union Foreign Policy Chief Federica Mogherini in Brussels today. Mogherini has said the European Union is determined to make sure the Iran nuclear agreement is respected despite US President Donald Trump's decision to pull out. Zarif told reporters that they had a good and constructive preliminary meeting with Mogherini ahead of talks later in the day with the Foreign Minister of Britain, France and Germany, and believed they are on the right track to move forward. Afghan Muslims are preparing for the start of the holy month of Ramadan. While fasting from dawn to sunset, Muslims refrain from activities such as eating, drinking and smoking, but then later take part in prayers and nightly feasts. Over the past few years, Taliban insurgents have intensified their attacks in Afghanistan during Ramadan. Meanwhile, in city shops, street markets are preparing for an influx of business. Afghanistan is marking this year's Ramadan at a time when more than 50% of its population is living beneath the poverty line. According to a survey carried out by Central Statistics Organization and ICON International, many of those living in Afghanistan are internally displaced persons. Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, and it's observed by Muslims worldwide as a month of fasting to commemorate the first revelation of the Holy Quran. Another new volcanic fissure has formed as the Cleo volcano on Hawaii's Big Island continues to erupt, and lava from another fissure is curving a channel towards the ocean. The new eruptions was reported yesterday in the Lanipuana Gardens subdivision, an area that has already been evacuated. Civil defense officials warn of volcano gas emissions and active eruptions with this new fissure. A separate fissure is still active after it formed on Sunday. The Hawaiian Volcano Observatory says as lava flow has now formed and is slowly moving towards the ocean, which is about 3.2 kilometers away. Kilauea began erupting on May 3rd. Since then, fissures have been generated mostly in Leilana estates, where nearly 2,000 residents were ordered to evacuate. Lava has destroyed more than 40 structures, including 24 homes. Geologists warn that Kilauea's summit could have an explosive steam eruption that would hurl rocks and ash miles into the sky. In Beijing, China, single women cares for over 2,000 orphans and set up a non-profit organization called Dewdrop's Little Flower in 2006 in a bid to accommodate and look after more abandoned children born with innate disease and disabilities. More details in the following report.
A real-life hero named Lily is a Chinese mother who has cared for more than 2,000 children over the past 12 years in Beijing. Lu Lijing, also called Lily, has been working with the orphans for 12 years and set up a non-profit organization called Dewdrop's Little Flower in 2006 in a bid to accommodate and look after more abandoned children born with innate diseases and disabilities.
First, because it was, to me, simple, no politics. I just work with children and they smile, they make you feel like relaxed, no pressure. And then gradually, want to learn more and want to do more.
Lily describes her life as meaningful and challenging because of the 2,000 plus children she has cared for. But the memory of the painful battle of one little abandoned boy who had short bowel syndrome, heart defects and many other conditions still sticks out in her mind.
On one side is seem like impossible for him, just too many things going on. But on the other side, he has that most cute, clear eyes, just look at you. It seemed like saying help me. So that's the very struggling part.
However, Lily never gave up on the now 3-year-old boy called Cam. Today he lives a healthy life with his adopted parents in the United States. Lily's warm-heartedness has also touched many volunteers who have come to help her take care of the children.
She's invested so much in all of these children, and she is that mother figure. And then I think also to us as a staff and a team, we all look up to her. We all look to her, even though she might not be our mothers per se. We all kind of see her that way. And I think that Lily has lots of stories of children she has helped and took care of them, took a chance on them. That's what mothers do, and that's what Lily does over here with all of the kids.
Today, Dewdrops has 75 children under its care, and although Lily remains single and doesn't have children of her own, the 2,000+ children she has helped would say that Lily deserves a very special Happy Mother's Day. According to the Ministry of Civil Affairs in China, by 2015 there were over 500,000 orphans in the country, and most of the abandoned children are born with medical issues and disabilities.
Now back to some more local news. A workshop on attracting international students to the private higher education institution was held in the Governorate of Muscat. The workshop hosted a number of international students to discuss their experiences while studying in higher education institutions in the Sultanate. It also shed light on the challenges that face some academic institutions regarding the increase in the number of international students. The statistics show that the number of international students in 2017 reached more than 622, mainly from Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and the majority of whom were specialized in studies related to culture and society. The workshop was presided over by His Excellency Dr. Saeed bin Hamad al-Rubi'i, Secretary General of Education Council. The Forum of Exchanging Experiences between the technology colleges revealed on the enhancing partnership with the private sector to develop work skills. The forum, which was organized by the Minister of Manpower, discussed challenges of observing the graduates of the technology colleges and the proposed solutions to benefit from the youth experiences. The event focused on the activities and events that help students of the technology colleges to improve their abilities and skills in this field. The Minister of Manpower announced that it appointed 29,176 job seekers in private sector from the 3rd of December last year until 14th of May 2018. 19,878 male job seekers were appointed, while female job seekers got 9,298 opportunities. The employment came within the government's plan to observe 25,000 job seekers according to the decisions of the Council of Ministers. The Directorate General of Health Services in the Governorate of Muscat organized a discussion session on achievements and obstacles that face the health institutions affiliated to the Directorate during 2017. It aimed to shed light on the goals and accomplishments to enhance health services, as well as finding solutions for the difficulties through recommendations and proper future visions. The Minister of Health organized an awareness event about the best way to use medicine in holy month of Ramadan. The event aimed to answer inquiries about taking medicines during fasting period and their effects on the patient's body, especially taking medicines of chronic diseases such as blood pressure, diabetic, psychological medicines and antibiotics. The event also included a number of activities such as distribution of guidance booklets about safe way to use medicines and preserving it in a safe place. A number of small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, registered at the Public Authority for Small and Medium Enterprises, Riyadh, reached 33,652 establishments till the end of March 2018. The Governorate of Muscat has the biggest number of SMEs, as it witnessed an increase by 10,945 establishments. The Governorate witnessed the registrations of 685 institutions from the period from the beginning of this year till the end of March. In Rustak Hospital has conducted a mass casualty exercise in cooperation with bodies concerned. I was present at this particular event, and I have this report. To ensure hospital disaster preparedness in handling the various emergency cases, particularly those involving mass casualty incidents, Rustaq Hospital and Ministry of Health, Medical and Public Health Response Sector, in collaboration with the South Bulletin Royal Police, together with Public Authority for Civil Defense and Ambulance, a mass casualty exercise was carried out this morning. This exercise is the first one to be carried out here in Rustaq Hospital, where the mass casualty exercise was organized on a mock scenario that involved accident of a school bus in Hazm carrying 23 students. Accordingly, Authority of Civil Defense was the first responder to the scene. Initial management was carried out by the PSCD and cases were triaged at the site in Hazm, whereby simulated casualties were transferred to Rustaq Hospital to receive appropriate treatment. The hospital was notified and the main committee for emergency and health disaster management were activated, where the whole team carried out their tasks accordingly. They have received all 23 injured and categorized as follows: 5 red, 3 black, 7 green, 8 yellow, out of which 13 were admitted. The significance of the exercise lays in incorporating the concept of combined work between various teams, in which measurements of the effectiveness of the leadership and control system was done.
This kind of exercise is very crucial to all nurses, as it always allows us to realize the areas that need improvement required in order to continuously provide quality of care to all the patients.
The purpose of today's exercise is to evaluate the preparedness of the hospital staff, and especially the emergency department, as well as hospital management, to deal with mass casualties. And we learned a lot from today's exercise, how ready we are to deal with such casualties, and what we need for future in terms of staffing, in terms of logistics, and in terms of disaster plan management. So we're happy about what we have done today.
The Public Authority of Civil Defense and Ambulance participated in this exercise for the purpose of ensuring our level of response to mass casualty incident. That's up to the standard requirement, which we are quite happy that is matching with the international standard between 10 to 15 minutes. And we managed to do it within 13 minutes.
Debriefing was held where revision of areas need improvement was elaborated by the evaluators from Sultan Qaboos University and the whole team. Indeed, such exercises are very important for the quality patient care. Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubi'i, Sultanate of Oman Television, Rustaq Hospital. And now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear skies will prevail over the Sultanate with chances of low clouds and fog late at night and early morning. Over the coastal areas of the Arabian Sea, dust-raising wind is expected over the desert and open areas. Winds will be south to southwesterly light to moderate. Seas will be slight with a maximum wave height of 1.25 meters. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and before we end tonight's bulletin, once again, here are the main points. The Sultanate confirms its solidarity and support towards the Palestinian people to establish an independent state on the basis of the 4th of June 1967 borders with Jerusalem as its capital. The State Council approves a proposal of developing social security system and reviews another on the National Programme for Government Performance Excellence. General cargo and heavy equipment ships movement in Adukum port doubles during the first quarter of 2018. And the Sarah border crossing in the Wilaya of Bremi is opened. And with that, we do conclude this news bulletin brought to you live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman television. From the entire news team and myself, we do thank you for joining us. Wish you a pleasant evening and good night.